Testing, testing. Ah, what am I doing? Straighten my jacket. Hello, everybody. How are you? Hello, everyone. Blah, 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 blah. Hello, everybody. The introvert, welcome. Oh, we are now zero viewers, but that's fine. Hello, everybody. If I sound tired, I'm a little bit tired. Tired. What's Hello, Black Bricks Productions. Easy. NZ. Also, I've said this many times before, but keep in mind that there is definitely a lot of latency on this due to my internet. So I do see your comments and your chat things. I just see them later than you would expect. So it's like when you guys make jokes and I like come back to the joke like a minute later. That's why. But anyway, welcome to the stream. To the comfort stream number 6 today. We are continuing this. I gotta say, I'm pretty happy with us continuing this. Unfortunately, I did not do one yesterday. I was very busy, so that did not happen. I was busy, man. Get off my back. Dang. But yeah. Welcome to the comfort stream. I did just wake up within the last hour, like 20 minutes ago, I think. So I'm a little bit tired, and my voice is a little dark and deep and dusty. I don't know what that means, but it's like raspy. But as you can tell, it's come back up. That's why I drink the milk. But anyway, how y'all doing today? Hope y'all doing good. I can't really say how good I'm doing today since the day just started, but I will say I'm not a morning person. Let's get started on a topic. Now, if you don't know what the comfort streams are, basically they're just chat streams where I talk to all of you. And it's a combination of like me being able to just talk because I like to talk. I know I keep looking over here, so I'm going to stop doing that and do this. There you go. I like to talk. I'm Mr. Talks a lot. If I was allowed to, I'd be talking for hours about literally anything that I might know something about. I usually have trouble talking online because again, the latency on my internet, so it's very late. It seems like I'm interrupting people, stuff like that. It's hard to explain that every single time I'm in a call, but if we just talk, I'll listen. Yeah, there you go. That's exactly what we do. Thank you, the introvert. And y'all can listen to this while you're working, while you're doing pretty much anything. It's up to you. I mean, how dare you do something else and not pay attention to me? You know what? Dang. I thought we had something here. But it looks like no. We didn't have nothing. Thought we had some sort of connection, some sort of bond. But here you are, playing your games, watching your movies. But yeah, speaking of not being a morning person, I find it very interesting how there's so many different types of people like just that exist as far as like certain things go. Like there are morning people, there are non-morning people. There are night owls. There are day people. Like there's tons of people that like when it comes to time, since it's such a relative thing, we tend to do things differently. Isn't it just interesting? Like I'm not a morning person, but I am a generally cheerful guy. Like most people would tell you that I am a generally cheerful guy. And I have full confidence that that's not boasting, not me just saying, "Oh yeah, that's how I am," kind of thing. Because there's times that I didn't think I was that much of a cheerful person, and I learned, oh wait, I am. I'm also pretty passive when it comes to certain stuff as well. Like, I think oh, hey Slim, welcome. Hello. Sleep disorder. Right there. Well, there is sleep disorder. Um, like I don't know. I obviously don't know the psychological aspects of whether or not being a morning person has anything to do with like a sleep disorder. Maybe it does. Maybe I've had no idea about it before and just now learned that it does. Um, but in essence, for me at least, I have insomnia, which probably factors into me having not being a morning person. Now that I think about it, like it makes the most sense. Like you wouldn't really want to be you wouldn't really be a morning person if you have trouble getting into bed in the morning in at night, you know. And it's like, and it's not even a problem of getting into bed. Like, people I don't think realize what kind of what the like. I believe when I'm like a lot of, like, it's hard to put into words, because like I know some people that can lay down and knock out, and some people that can do that at almost any time. Some people who can only do that when they're slightly tired. Yeah, artists must have sleep disorder. Yeah, most artists do. In all honesty, it's like it gets pretty ridiculous. I'm trying to fix my sleep schedule, and it's getting better. I'm getting my sleeping getting better and all that. It's not perfect just yet. I was up till 2 last night. But but I'm getting it like regularly. I'm going to bed at 12 or 10 or 12 or 11 now. And so staying up till 2 is like irregular for me, which is the good thing. That is a good thing to have, where it's irregular for you to be staying up late. Um, but talking about that actually, let's talk about artists real quick. I actually wanted to talk about this the other day. Um, Something that I find so interesting that I absolutely hate about the artist community and the artist and the animation community, both of those communities. What's something I absolutely hate about both of those worlds is the amount of um I don't want to say criticism, because that's not exactly correct. Slim, I go to sleep as soon as I get to bed. See, Slim, you're able to do that. I have to lay in bed for about an hour or two. There was one night I laid in bed all night. Got up a couple times, go to the bathroom, get some water, but I stayed in bed all night. Didn't sleep a wink. Didn't sleep at all. Granted, I was sick, but maybe that's a big factor. Why are my eyes covered? I gotta take the hat off. Sorry. Sorry, I'm trying to look dapper today. But, um, yeah, I can't do that, Slim, unfortunately. But what I was saying about artists and animators, I think honestly in the content creation, well, in those two mediums of content creation, it's weird the amount of, it's very unpleasant, I think, the amount of, I guess, I don't know, it's hard to say criticism because it's not quite right. Self criticism. To me, it's just stupid. It's ridiculous. And I don't mean to bring down anyone out there who has low self confidence. I'm not trying to tell you, oh, you're dumb, for not having more self confidence. But you're dumb for not having more self confidence. I'm sorry. It's like, I'm not trying to say it's like, because like that's a thing. If like you have these situations where someone will say, oh, here's my garbage or my trash drawing. Here, take a look at it, and I'll look at it and be like, oh, what do you mean trash? This is really good. No, it's not. And at that moment, I want to smack you when you say stuff like that. Like, that's when I want to hit you. Like, I normally don't want to hit people. I don't necessarily. I'm like, but that's the moment where I'm like, do you take martial arts? Because I'd love to spar with you right now. Because then I can legally punch you in the face. It's like, because and admittedly, it's not purely me just being like, oh, my baby child, I'm trying to comfort you. That is partially what it is, but there's a whole nother slew of things. I'm also upset that in many ways, if you really think about it, when you get complimented and, like, here's the thing, if you get complimented and you don't accept the compliment. And I get how it may feel. Some people may think, oh, they're just being nice to me. Well, for one, in the animation community at least, that doesn't really happen. It doesn't really happen. Because that's the thing. Animators and artists are very different, depending on who you're talking about. Very, very... Now, I feel like, okay, it's hard to... Again, since it's hard to explain, I'm going to make some predetermined things. So we have several levels of like art and animation. We're going to say that there's level 1, which is like I just picked up a pencil. There's level 2 where I'm trying to get better, and it's like everyone knows my art is bad. It's not good right now, but I'm trying to get better. 3 is the level of I want to improve my artwork. It's like I have improved much more than I have when I started. I'm good, at least. At the very least, I can. It is decent, and there are people that will say it's bad, and there's people that will say it's good. I'm getting a combination of both. 4, and level 4 is like I do really, really well. Like I draw really, or I animate really, really well, and then 5, but then 5 is like I am a professional. Like I get hired by studios, kind of thing, or I get $200 commissions, kind of thing. Like incredible stuff. And there's like 5 levels. Most people at level 3 will never admit that they're good at art, ever. And when they get complimented, they refuse to believe it. And in my opinion, people like that will be stuck at level 3, and they're never going to get to level 4. And if they do get to level 4, they're lucky. Like there's several artists that I know that I really like their artwork, but several of them also never say their art looks good, or that they have such low self-confidence. And again, I'm not trying to attack people with bad self-confidence. I'm just saying that these people do worse because they don't like what they make, because they are against it, or they're against the idea of them being good at something. Let me see. The introvert says, I know. The person who do 2 FPS animation criticized me in very bad language. But what can I do about this toxic people? Okay, that's actually a completely like different matter. So that's somebody who doesn't know squat about something. Well, okay, here's something I'd like to point out, that you don't need to be a chef to be a critic, but you do need to be a critic to be a critic. So it's like, I never judge what someone else tells me about my work based on what they're capable of doing. I would judge it based on what their actual knowledge is. For example, somebody who watches a lot of animation and actually looks into a lot of animation doesn't have to be good at animation. They might never pick up a pencil in their life. They might never try and use an animation program, ever. Maybe if they do, they end up horrible at it, because it takes either a decent amount of skill or a decent amount of practice. And so, but they might still have plenty of animation knowledge, is the thing. Now here's the thing. I assume, Mr. Introvert, that you are an animator, because you otherwise you wouldn't be criticized by another animator on animation. I assume that you are another animator, and I will also assume that your animations are at least decent. I'm gonna guess right now that you're at level 3, maybe 2 or 3, somewhere around there. What can you do about toxic people? So the first thing to do, actually, is look at every criticism that people give you and give it a little bit of seriousness. Give it at least a tad bit of pepper right there. Like a little bit. Like give it a taste test. And then seriously consider it. And then if you realize that it's bogus information, ignore it. It's like, no, what you just said is dumb. I'm not going to listen to it. But if you think about it and you see how it actually is good advice, then that's advice you got to take. However, if you're getting somebody who's like spamming you with like stuff like that, because yeah, sure, I take it. Beginner animator. What was I saying? Like I'm a beginner, really. Like, okay, I've been animating for a few years, but like I'd say I'm at level 3, and the reason I'm not going to be level 4 or 5 is because I don't want to be. I don't want to be an animator as a career. That's the reason I'll probably never get big as an animator necessarily. I'm a director, I'm a producer. I hire people more often than not. That's what I do. And I'll bet your animations are pretty good, Introvert. In fact, let me see. I think there's a way for me to check, actually. Let me see here. Give me a second. Yeah, because we're streaming right now. I should be able to check your channel. Oh, mute that. Let me see. the the introvert. Trying to see, or let me see if I just type in the introvert. If you have a channel, that is. Let me see. I'm not seeing your channel. I don't know if you. Oh, here it is. I found it. Let me look at your most recent thing that you've made real quick. Give me a second, and I'll. And hey, you don't have to trust anything that I say for the most part, because but I would say I have some experience. Okay, hold on. I'm watching your freelancers problem one. Let me check. Okay. Okay. So, looking at okay, so that's just a freelancer's problem. I don't know if that's your let me see. Let me see something. But yeah, I don't know how long you've been animating. But this seems like definitely a better place that you're like how many is this? You've been it looks like about 5 months or wait, videos. Let me check videos. Okay, yeah, about 5 months it seems, and it doesn't look bad necessarily. You definitely like need some more work, but at the same time, it's like you seem to be releasing like different little things every now and then. Like actually, I'm looking at your surpass your limits practice. That's pretty decent. That's actually that's a not bad particle work. Lethal brutal attack. Your perspective in this one is not too bad, honestly. In fact, honestly, the only two things I think that you at the moment should concentrate on animation wise would probably be since so you've only been animating for 5 to 6 months. That is a really short amount of time and a decent amount of um um uh improvement in that short amount of time. That is good. So I would say that if you continue to like get better at a constant rate at the rate that you're going, I predict that if you really are, just getting into animation in about a year, possibly, maybe a year and a half, you will be animating better than I am. Because like right. What were the two things? The two things I think you should probably work on are like anatomy to a degree, or actually not anatomy. Good friend, somebody I know, not friend necessarily, but good person you should look to is Howard Wimshurst because he does like full body and he's great tutorials. I don't know, you probably already watch him, but he made a pointer at one point that when you're doing full body and stuff, the best thing to know is shapes because like that's how you get better like your body like great animator is like Shamalama. He's on Twitter, I believe. But he's been like mentioned on the dojo before. Um, yeah, look at blue. Look at blue. Oh, hey, red boy. I'll have to look at blue later. If anyone's wondering, I do not have Discord open at the moment. I still need to change the Discord description, the description of the video to have the right link. I forgot about that. Oh well. Anyway, dang, I got something in my eye. I guess gesture drawing. Oh yeah. Actually, yeah. I think that might be the second thing. Poses and shapes. Those two would be good. And then after you get that down, you can go. I think it'd be fine for you to start. If you start to want to get like choreography or smoothness in your animation, try doing a couple stick figures to get into like, because like the reason people use stick figures so much is because they allow you the option of doing the movement animations and getting those down before you actually do the body, because when you're doing the body it's hard to think about what the body's going to be doing in the next and previous frames as it is when you do a stick figure, because it's just like line done. So, or storyboarding. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll get into storyboarding. When I was talking about level 1 through 5 of animators, level 5 person, literally a level 5 person, Road Sign on YouTube. They're on their channel, Road Sign. They literally work for several studios. They're probably one of the best ones out there. They make incredible storyboard or rough animation. Not even storyboard, it's rough animation, and it's so good. It's crazy. But yeah, that's a good person to reference, a good person to go take a look at, see what they do, because since they do so much rough animation, you can use that as a note for like storyboarding and stuff like that. But yeah, back to what I was talking about. Hey Cake, yo, all according to Cake, if anyone knows that meme. But back to what I was talking about earlier about artists and animators having low confidence. I do thoroughly believe that when somebody has low confidence, it tends to what the heck? Why is it? Why? Okay, Cake. I see what you said on the stream over here or right here. I don't know why Discord retracted your not Discord, but why the YouTube retracted your message for saying sup. Hey Askies, welcome to the stream. I don't know what happened to Cake right now. I don't know. We lost Cake. But anyway, as I was saying about confidence, a lot of artists and animators will never get better because they don't have any confidence in themselves. They don't think that they're already decent, and then they don't think that they'll ever get better. And it's like there's several artists that I could name just off the top of my head right now. Names, literal names. I know these people, and it's like, and I think if they were watching this stream, they know I'm talking to them. They know exactly who I'm referring to, because is for me at least, and it's pretty ridiculous. It's it's like introvert. What you're saying right now is like this person criticizes me in very bad language. That's another thing. A lot of people will criticize you without telling you how to improve. That is the big issue, I think, when it comes to people trying to give criticism. For all you know, that like it's like I haven't seen the comments or whatever you're getting from people on that person about maybe like for all I know, maybe they're just trying to take you down a notch. I don't know, but it's like for one, I wouldn't engage with them. I'd be like, okay, and then continue on my day. If they really are just some toxic individual, you don't need to waste energy on them. But it's like I have several friends who are also animators, and they're really good. And there's times when they'll say your animation looks really bad. At any time like that, I will then they tell me why, and that's where the big difference is between good advice and bad, and like good constructive advice and not good constructive advice. I have been doing stickman animation for 2 months. Dude, on the Dojo Discord and other Discord servers, there was a guy who was constantly criticizing other people's work. I think I saw that guy for a while. I just was like, you know what? No, I'm not going to stay for that. And the dudes seem to especially pick on my work. Really? Huh. Like I get that you needed to improve, but he just, like, this guy, I assume, was, like, just telling people whatever he wanted about people's work. But that's like I said, that's the thing. It's just, like, saying animation is bad without saying there's a way to improve it is the thing. Like, at the very least, if you're going to put effort into saying something looks bad, you need to put effort into saying why. It's like, and really, I think that should be with anything. For the most part, like, there should be a level where you're like, if you have the time to be telling me that my stickman animation sucks, then you need to give me a valid reason why it sucks. You can't just say animation bad. You need to say that animation is bad. You could do better with your arcing, or maybe improve the smoothness of your animation in some of these spots by either double frame or single framing. Maybe add a triple frame here or there. That's good advice. That actually might help me out. I might look at that and be like, okay, let me see where I could do that, and then improvement happens. I tried to talk to him nicely a few times, but he was eventually banned since he was just annoying more people than just me. So yeah, that's not good advice. That's just literally attacking people about with criticism, and it doesn't help. That's the thing. Even if you were to have good, like, I doubt he had good intentions, but even if you were to have good intentions, there's people out there with really good intentions who can end up not helping at all because they're just trying to help, and then they don't realize that what they're doing can, be insulting. Like, there's this one guy I met on a server. It was a private server, and he started we were talking about anime and animation, and I was like, well, I'm an animator. He's like, oh really? And he's like, oh yeah, and I know several animators. Do you want to see some of their work or whatever? I got, secret access kind of thing. It's like being an animator. That's what it's like. And he was like, oh sure thing, right? You'd love to see it. And he even referenced me to some really good animes that I'd really like to check out sometime. But I take a look at these, right? And then I show him some of the stuff. This guy had extensive anime knowledge, which is fine. But he ended up being rude without realizing he was being rude. He started looking, when he was looking at the animations that I was showing him, he kept saying stuff like, oh, that's like from this, or that was referenced from this. Oh, that's cool how that was like a reference to that, or that was probably inspired by this. So he kept mentioning all these different animes, and it was like, and for me, like, I was upset over my own work, and I was really upset over my friend's work, because it felt like he was saying that the work wasn't original, and I don't think he realized how rude it was at all. Like, it's like, and I really don't think he realized how rude it was to be saying what he did, because the way he said it is just, I feel like it was him just thinking, oh, that's like this thing that I really love. Or that's like this thing that I used to love and enjoy, and I get that. It's like when you animate something and someone's like, oh, that reminds me of Looney Tunes. And it's like, that's what I'm going for. Awesome. I'm glad that's what you thought it was like. But at the same time, it's like, since it was every single one and it was just constant how much he was saying that, he was insulting the people's work without realizing he was insulting the people's work. Sometimes animators don't want to be told your work looks just like this person. Sometimes it'd be better if you were to say something like, oh, you're like at the skill level of this person, or your work is like at the same quality of this person. That's one that would make sense. That's one that would be perfectly fine to say. But like I said, he had good intentions. Didn't realize this. Whenever I can bring up a critic as well as the pluses. But yeah, and that's another thing. Another thing when it comes to criticism, you should always, and this is for when you're talking about your own work, you should always, I think, also look for what is good in that work. Look for the good parts in it, because if you're not looking for the good parts and you're only looking for what you can do, because here's the thing. I fear not the man, I don't remember what this is from, but I fear not the man who did 1,000 punches one time, but the man who did one punch 1,000 times. And it's an example of how it's better to be really, really good at a single thing than it is to be generally okay at a lot of different things. It's, that applies to everything, animation and art especially. If you're an artist and like you're at level 3, like I said, oh, my neck, then you should look at that stage. You should be looking at what you're good at, and you should say, all right, if that's what I'm good at, that's what I'll concentrate on, and on the side I'll try and improve in the things that I'm bad at. But most of your time should be spent doing more of what you're already good at, and I think mastering that. Master what you're already good at, things that you can already do decently. And so, and plus, that'll help with self-confidence, because that forces you to recognize what you are good at, because people don't want to admit they're good at stuff. People are stupid. I'm sorry, people with low confidence, but it's stupid. I know, I hate to bash you guys like that, but it's wrong. It's incorrect. It's not good. It doesn't help you or anybody. I mean, seriously, from a logical perspective, consider it. How much does it help anybody when you demean your own work? Does it help you improve? Like, do you take the work you did and then try to improve it after looking at what you think is wrong? Did you like practice that one thing so that you could get better at it? Or did you like look at what, did you at any point say what you were good at and try and do that better? No, all you did, all anyone ever does is say that they're bad at stuff. And these same people will tell you stuff like, I know, I'm so bad. And just like, don't tell me you're so bad. Okay? Don't tell me I know I need to improve. Or I know I need to get more confident. You don't have to tell anybody that. You can. That's up to you. But it doesn't help you. What helps you is having more confidence. Not just saying you need more confidence. And it's like if you say it once and it's like I need to get more confidence, but if I hear you like when you hear the same person every single other day saying, "Oh, I'm so bad, I need to get better," and then I'm saying you need to have more confidence. And it's like, "Oh, but I couldn't possibly have confidence." I just want to slap you in the face. It's like, "No. Just just shut up." Or I'm sorry. I know it seems like I'm angry. I know it looks like I'm attacking those people, but I'm genuinely upset about this. Now, again, I can't understand those people very well for the most part because I have a lot of confidence in my own ability. I look at my own stuff and granted, as a religious individual, I'm also thanking God most of the time for what I can do and what's given to me. But at the same time, it's like I'm also proud in the fact that I'm being able to do it. I'm proud in the gift I'm given. And it's like because of that, I have a decent amount of self-confidence. Did you ever meet this situation by asking us, you work on an anim and the way a certain scene turned out doesn't satisfy you. You remake that scene a few times, but in the end you give up. So, that is an interesting situation. And I know how you're feeling about that. There are several times that I have done certain scenes and it doesn't satisfy me. And I did try to remake some of them a few times. But I didn't necessarily give up. A wonderful tip from a wonderful animator given to me was don't practice. Just don't practice animation. Just animate animation. And what does that mean? It's like, what? Don't practice? Aren't you supposed to practice all the time? Not necessarily. It's not quite the same thing. There is a space where practice is where you start at. Practicing is where you start. But when you get to a certain point, you should be working on what you work on as if you're about to share it to the whole world. Like, literally, I have a file on my computer called the training file. And in there, I sometimes randomly start a file and start animating. I make a random, FLA. I start animating something, and then I finish it. But here's the thing. I post all of those, even if they turn out bad, even if they turn out terrible, even if they're just dumb, right? I post them, and I intend to post them when I'm making them. So they're always just to the way that I would be okay with posting them at least. But I guess that's not really answering the question. I'm sorry. You work on an anim and the way a certain scene turned out doesn't satisfy you. You remake that scene a few times. Here's the thing. I almost never remake scenes. Almost never do I do that. I only ever do that when it turns out really, really bad. Not ever, like, my recent most animation, the Frisbee one, actually. My Frisbee animation is a good example. There are a couple scenes in there that I look at, and there's some parts in it that I say, that doesn't look quite right. That could be better. And even when I was animating it, I knew that. I looked at certain scenes and said, that doesn't look quite right. And I knew that those parts looked kind of bad. But I did not give up on those. Nor, it's hard to put it because sometimes stopping doesn't necessarily mean giving up in many ways. I know that sounds a little bit contradictory. But stopping and giving up are two different things. When you stop something, it depends on there's a lot of factors involved. Maybe what you're working on won't help you. But another quote from a friend or from Howard is there are times that you should push yourself when you really don't want to. So I would say it's actually a really good idea to maybe try to Next time you're in that situation where you have a animation and you think it looks really bad and it's just not satisfying you, and you want to give up, maybe keep trying for a bit. I would say it's a lot relating to the extra step rule that I've been trying to live by. My extra step rule is basically whenever I do something, whenever I try to do something, and I'm to a point where I say where I want to stop. And there's two different points. There's the point where it's like, should I stop now? Nah, I'll keep going. That's one, but that's not the one I'm talking about. I'm talking about the second one where it's like, I really want to quit. I really want to stop right now. I really want to just give up and not do anymore. Or I want to work on the rest of this tomorrow or something like that. And the best thing to do is the extra step, where you decide to do one little extra thing, where you do one more thing. Just a little. It's just like you take one more step forward, a little bit more effort, and then you stop. Because it doesn't mean you have to just keep working for hours on end. It just means do a little more. And then, even if the animation doesn't turn out good, or even if you're not completely satisfied with it, you can know that you put effort into it. And a lot of people don't realize how important effort in and of itself is, because it's like a lot of times I think effort in and of itself matters almost as much as skill, or like actually making it look good. Like I have a friend, Ponchi, who is mediocre, below mediocre, or below average when it comes to animation. But he is also a very he puts a lot of effort into his work, and I see him getting really good in the future if he just keeps going. If he just keeps doing it, he could end up like Stockborn. Stockborn is a wonderful flip-a-clip animator, I think, and I think Ponchi could do that too. Let me see what you say. Two local animators come up with the idea, inspiration doesn't just come to you. You can find inspiration the opposite way you'd expect it to be. If you start working with no inspiration, it will fade in as you work. Right. Inspiration doesn't just come to you. You can find inspiration the opposite way you'd expect it to be. If you start working with no inspiration, right. That's another thing. It's hard to work with no inspiration. If you have no inspiration in something, and inspiration in and of itself is such an interesting topic. Like, how do you get inspired? How do you inspire yourself? Oh dear. I think a lot of people mix up motivation with inspiration, because while they go hand in hand, they are not the same thing. Being inspired motivates you, and having motivation, but I don't think having motivation brings inspiration. I think it's a lot like how a square is not a rectangle, but rectangle is a square kind of thing. Or if it's the other way around, I don't remember. But it's like inspiration will give you motivation. Motivation will not give you inspiration. In my experience, at least. When you're inspired, you think about this incredible thing and you start to work on it. You're like, oh, that's so cool. I'm going to do it. And you do it. And even if though you said 100 times that you're not good at this one thing, you still went and did it. You still decided to go do it. So it's like you said you were no good, but you still went and did it because you enjoyed it. So it's like you still decided you wanted to do it. And so you ended up doing it. And you got inspired and it motivated you to do it, even though you didn't think you could. Because you forgot that you couldn't. That's the big thing. The only reason that people with low confidence are able to do the work that they do is because they get inspired to the point that they forget that they think they can't do something. That is a really hard sentence to say, but you forget that you can't do something, or you forget that you think you can't do something, because you say you're bad at something, but then you forget that but then when you get inspired, you forget that because you're too interested in drawing. A square is a rectangle, but not all rectangles are squares. There we go. Thank you, Stagan. And it's that kind of that's what I think inspiration leads to motivation. But it doesn't matter how motivated you are to draw if you're not inspired to do it. If you have no inspiration to actually draw, like if you have no inspiration of what to draw, it doesn't matter how itchy your drawing finger is. You just don't know what to do. It's like, in essence, it's like having a gun, but not knowing how, and not not shooting it, not have or it's like having the motivation to shoot a gun, but not having a gun or knowing what gun to pick. It's like if you're running from a bad guy and you look at a ton, like 5 through 10 different guns, and you cannot decide which one you want, or you don't want any of those guns, you're not going to be able to shoot a gun. You don't have one. It's not going to happen. You don't have it. It doesn't matter how motivated you are. You're not going to do anything. In a sense, you have to be inspired to do something. And so the summer holiday is melting my motivation. This tremendously slows my progress on the kickoff, but I can agree that the feeling of I will finish this today kicks in as I work on it. Right, okay. So that's actually a similar thing of the I will finish this today philosophy. A lot of people get that. It happens plenty of times and there are times when I start working on something and I just don't do well on it on that day. I still give that extra step, but then it's like, I'm like, you know what? I'm not doing well on this. And then there's other times when I start working on something, and recently there's one animation project I started working on like 2 or 3 days ago, and I've worked on it every day since, and I've been motivated and inspired to work on it. I've just been doing it. I'm actually starting to get a little bit uninspired right now at the point in the animation I'm in. But having a tank but not having crew members to operate it, basically, it's like if your brain is the tank and it's functioning now, but you have nobody operating it. In a sense, it's similar to that. But yeah, that's where I think motivation and inspiration mesh. That's how they work. You need to be inspired first, and with inspiration, you will usually get motivated. Now, that's not always exclusive. There are times when you can be inspired, but then immediately some people, their thoughts of I can't do this hits them first, and they don't get a chance to get motivated. And that happens to a lot of people. And those are the people you never hear about. Just think about that. Anyone out there who's got really low self-confidence issues, the people out there who hate their own work and think that they'll never get better and think that they can't be better and that they don't deserve to be better, you never hear about those people. Not really. Because they don't do anything. They don't make anything. Those are the people that you hear about from some parents saying, my child still lives in my basement. He's 35. My daughter still hasn't left home yet. She's 28. And she just reads in the attic. Those are the people you never hear about. Those are the people that you do not think about or even encounter, really. They almost don't exist. They only exist to the few people that know them. And so think about it for a second. How many people know about your art? If you can mention over 3 to 4, then you're already doing pretty good. If you can mention at least 3 or 4 people who are not family who know about your work or know about you as a person, you're doing pretty good actually. But the less confidence and the more you decide that you can't be good, the more you won't be good. Like even if you do, I don't know. But anyway, with that being said, let me check the chat. Cam question: do you like tongue twisters? I love tongue twisters. Hit me with some. The introvert, and how to deal with art block because I'm roto artist by profession, work on movies and TV serials. Very little time I get to do 2D animation. Roto artist. Let me see what that is. What is a roto artist? Because I've never heard of that. I know what rotoscoping is, and I kind of hope that's not what you're doing. Roto artist job description. Okay, here we go. Didn't even know this was a thing. Let me look this up. Roto artists trace areas within live action frames where the CGI will be inserted or interacted with live images. They create silhouettes known as mats within the frame to follow the scene to be layered by the compositor. This technique is known as rotoscoping and is manually drawn out frame by frame. Okay. So this is a different type of rotoscoping, and this isn't what I was thinking you were talking about, because there's rotoscoping to a degree where it's actually theft, and then there's rotoscoping like this. So, let me see. All right, I'll hit you with a hard one. Hard to spell even for me. Let me before I read it. So how to deal with art block? Just like because since you're always you're doing roto work, yeah, that's the same thing. Yeah, um, yeah. There's two different like so yeah. There's two different like, and there's a lot of controversy in animators in like animators groups about whether like what kind of rotoscoping is okay. In my personal opinion, if it's your own footage or if it's your own work that you're rotoscoping, perfectly fine. Or if like someone's like, oh hey, here's this footage I made, you can rotoscope it. Please use this to make the animation. That's fine. Or your own footage or something like that, or even royalty free footage. People make that. That's a thing. Um, but what I am against is when it's like, oh, someone else made an animation, I'm just gonna copy that animation. Obviously, I don't think that's what you do. It's I'm not saying that. Don't worry. Um, but anyway, let me see. So art block, though, how would I solve art block? And this is the issue of of the inspired thing, because like I said, inspiration usually comes before motivation. And since that's true, if you're not being inspired, it's getting really hard to be motivated, I bet. And even when you're motivated, you don't know what to do. So how do I deal with art block? Usually, actually, I have found a really interesting way to get out of art block. Find a very, very simplistic and easy art style, like a sketch type of art style. Like I'm talking like you could draw a person in less than a minute kind of art style. Search for an art style like that. Like just try and like get to that point where you could draw a face decently within a minute, under a minute, or a body. I do what you read, that silhouette thing. Yeah. Um, so like look into finding that art style, right? And then play some games with friends. Go talk to people. Go talk to other people. Make friends. Because you will find that people inspire us more than anything else in this world. And I think that's one of the beautiful things. Like, I know there's a lot of people out there who just hate the human race in general. Oh, my camera's messed up. Who just hate the human race in general. And I personally do not. I love humans. Love animals too. But I absolutely love humans in general. I think they're a miracle. They're just their very existence. And um and I've learned over time that people inspire us more than anything. Most and you get inspired through interaction. I started playing with this gaming group the other day, like this one group, and we do this thing like once a month, every 2 weeks or so. Because of that, I started doing random sketches of our game nights and our game stuff, like the stuff that happened during those games, and they were really fun sketches, and I had a really fun time drawing. And then after that would happen, I'd have a bit of motivation to draw other stuff, and I'd start thinking, oh, what could I do for this? Um, and here's the thing: don't do it in such a way that you're looking for motivation. You should do it in such a way that you want to just go actually with the goal of having some fun. Because that fun will make you happy. You will enjoy that. And inspiration is a very happy emotion. The two are similar. And I think there's definitely a reason why being happy in and of itself with your friends, or like forgetting that you're trying to get motivated or inspired by things, causes you to be inspired. So yeah, that's my clue to art block, or that's my solution to it. Whenever I'm not feeling like I want to draw, I go do something else. I just don't draw. I go and enjoy myself. And that, like, literally the other day, I started playing Skyrim a lot more and recently, and whenever I'm not feeling up to drawing or animating or whatever, I go over and I just go play. And what that has caused me to do is now I literally have an entire character on there that I want to draw on here, and and sometimes I just think about sketches of the character. Only reason I haven't drawn is because I have other things to do first, but duty comes before pleasure, kind of thing. But yeah, it's like those kinds of things motivate us and inspire us. I mean, those things. It's always good to enjoy yourself. So all I'm saying is find a game that you like, a multiplayer probably, and find a way that, like Gartic Phone code names, maybe get Jackbox TV, get something like that, and then play it with people. Wonderful one is Tabletop Simulator. I love that. I play games with on there sometimes with people. I'm looking for more people to play that with as well. But yeah, it's so inspiring. It inspires us so well to talk to people, to be around people, to enjoy ourselves. Being happy is inspiring. And even when you're sad, sometimes like emotions in and of themselves inspire us. I think when we're not inspired, we're not really feeling emotion for the most part. We're not really feeling very much like I from my experience, when you think about any time that you've been like sitting in front of the computer or in front of your paper and you're just like, I am not inspired. I don't know what to start with. Like, you're mainly confused. If you really think about the emotion you're feeling at that time, you're just confused. You're like, you don't know what to do. You really just don't know what to do. And so you're not really feeling much emotion except for just confusion. And personally, confusion isn't much of an emotion, really. It is an emotion, but it's not like it's not like a happy, sad, mad type of thing. Those emotions will cause you to be inspired because they're more raw. Whereas confusion is so blank and so gray. It's just like, I don't know. I don't know what to do. And so try and get out of like that state by doing something else. And yeah, that's how I do it. And sometimes it doesn't even have to be playing games. I have this one friend, Lesmod, who I talk to, who all the time whenever we're like talking, sometimes we draw and talk at the same time, and we're kind of getting like semi-inspired while we're talking. Find somebody who inspires you and who you inspire as far as art goes, because there's people out there that will do that to you. There's people you'll meet out there that'll be inspiring to you, and that's the kind of people that you want to meet. But yeah, that's pretty good. What were you saying, Ask Yes? Tongue twisters. All right, I'll hit you with one. Hard to spell even for me. So it's a spelling one. CRPRACR. Okay, CR. Wait, I spelled that wrong from the get go. CAPRACRAPAPIATRA dash NPATRU. Capra Capre Piatran Patru. I don't know if I butchered that right now, but is it CAPRA? Okay, let's see how fast I can go. CAPRACR. Yeah, CAPRACRAPIATRANPATRU. Uh, Tried my best. I did my best with it. Hope I did well. We might end the stream in about 5 minutes. I think I might stop it at an hour. Check out the Google Translate for Romanian. Okay, let me on copy. Translate. I speak fluent Google Translate. No, not Arabic. Romanian. Bring me Romanian. English. There we go. All right. The goat cracks the stone in four, is what I see on my end. The goat cracks the stone in four? I don't know if this is just Google Translate butchering the sentence, but I forgot you speak Romanian. Okay, quick question. All right. I am waiting for the quick question. Let me take a drink of my milk again. Go ahead, ask your question. What is it that you desire to know from me as a wise individual? I will give you my wisdom as best I can. I don't know why I'm wearing this jacket on a day as hot as today, but you know what? Yeah, I'm looking dapper today, so it's worth it. Also, I'm gonna shave today, so you won't be seeing this tomorrow. I don't like having hair on my face, honestly. I'm starting to dislike it. Not really quick, but kinda. I don't know. This is just ask it. Don't worry about it. Man, I'm getting kind of tired. These streams really actually take a lot out of me. I used to think, oh, I could do a 24-hour stream. Granted, I probably could, depending on what I'm doing. If I was playing Skyrim for y'all, then yeah. As a person of religion, how do you feel about the violence in stick figure animation? Good topic. um, so interesting thing about okay, so to first answer any of your questions, I am a Catholic. Just to get that out of the way. All right. I am an Orthodox Catholic, and I believe Orthodox. Wait, I might not be actually. I'm a normal. I'm just a Catholic. I don't know. Anyway, my grandmother would know way more about that than I do. But by the way, the correct translation would be the goat cracks the rock in four pieces. Okay. So pretty close. All right, Google Translate, not too bad. But anyway, so what was I saying? Right. So as a person of religion, how do you feel about the violence in stick figure animation? So it. Let me be honest. I. How do I explain this? There is a difference between violence and or it's an interesting. Okay. Personally, I think it looks really cool. But at the same time, if like let me put it this way. It's like violence in the animation for the most part as far as I'm concerned is really just a like it's like watching a sparring match in a sense cuz like you don't want people to hurt each other. That's not what you're looking for. But it's like it's like when you draw a monster. It's like the monster may be evil. The monster itself is evil. But you're drawing it, right? You're drawing it like That's an interesting question. I've never thought about it because you're asking me to think of it from like a very like my from a religious perspective how I am. Um I guess I'd have to say I don't feel bad about it in the slightest. I animate it myself. I think it looks cool. Um Granted, I don't usually do much of the gory type of stuff, mainly because I don't know how. Well, there's a couple times I have, but um I like it's such an interesting. I actually, you have me stumped on this one. Ask yes, then you actually have me stumped. It's hard to put because, like, I'm sure my grandmother could say it in such a way that would be like, oh, well, it's different. It's not quite the same thing. Allow me to explain. My grandmother would be right on that. Um, but at the same time, there are a lot of times my grandmother kept asking me, why do you make them look like they're fighting? Why do you always have the stick figures fighting? And I always respond with the same thing. I think it looks cool. And plus, it's easier. It's easy. Fighting is easy to animate. Not, I hate to say that, but it's like, depending on what kind of fighting you're doing, because here's the thing. It's like walking loops and showing emotion on a character's face. Those are very different aspects of animation, whereas fighting is one of the few things that you can do purely with a stick figure. In most other animation, when you want to display emotion, it's hard to do that with a stick figure. You need to put more details. It's like Guy wants to put more story and emotion in his animations. So they have faces, they have details, they have features and stuff like that that you can look at and understand more. Whereas with a fight animation, with a basic classic stick figure, it's a lot harder to do that. Nah, I don't really like gory animation. I usually just slap some blood splurts whenever someone is impaled, scratched, etc., but no visceries or anything. Simple solution, declare yourself as atheist. Just kidding. But my new duelist idea would have asked for extra gore because of his abilities. But yeah, the introvert. No, I'm not. uh, I firmly believe in my faith, so it's that's not an option. I know you're just kidding. It's don't worry. But I say good solution. If I don't have any religious beliefs, then I have no limitations. But not to insult anybody, but yeah, and it's not even just from a religious perspective. It's just in my opinion, from a moral perspective. Like I like to think of it in the sense that if nobody gets hurt, you can make what you want to make. And if nobody gets hurt, you can watch what you want to watch. And I don't think that watching fighting animations hurts anybody. I don't think anyone really gets hurt from making fighting animations necessarily. Granted, there is, I believe, in China or Japan, where they have very people passing out from overwork. Y'all got to get that sorted. But what I was saying is that I legit don't know if I'll be able to answer this question in the stream because I can't think about it. I can't get my thoughts together. I'm going to have to actually talk with my grandmother. I think I might have to have a full discussion with her because I can't actually make a decision on this. Because I like fight animation. I cannot deny I enjoy it. I think it looks cool. I make it myself. I even hire people to work on them sometimes. But at the same time, I'm not in support of killing people. I don't like people dying. That's why most of the time I have my characters beating up people, you know. Even though it's wrong to imitate violence on a screen, I think I was given the gift by God, something relatively unique because I am not good at many things, but this is my special thing. Right, that's a thing. It's like, I don't want to say that if you can do it, why shouldn't you? Because like there's a lot of bad things you can do. I don't think it's necessarily wrong to imitate violence on a screen necessarily. I think it's wrong to imitate violence and make it a good thing. Let me put it this way. If you have a character that is a mass murderer and gory kill people all the time, always tries to murders people really bad, that character shouldn't be your good guy. Or at the very least, he should be like a character that will change in the future. It's like, let me put it this way. There was this one show I watched where there was a character that was not very good. He was a deadbeat dad. I'm not going to explain what anime this is from, but I was very dissatisfied with the ending because the son who was trying to find his father eventually finds his father, who left him as a baby. And they never addressed that. Like, they hint to, oh, we're going to address it later. Maybe his dad's not a great person or whatever. When he meets him, like, what's he going to do? His dad's going to say, oh, yeah, I left you because I wanted to have fun. And he's going to be the bad guy. And his son's going to be like, I thought you were going to be a good guy, right? No. He finds his dad and he's so happy. And they just are so chummy together. And I'm immediately like, so you're telling me you're trying to make it good that he's a deadbeat dad? That's where the big mistake is. There's a lot of topics out there that movies and films try to make okay. It's like, let's just softly pat you on the head and say it's all right. It's all good. And it's so frustrating. It is so frustrating for me because there was another show, never watched it, don't ever plan on watching it. But it was about a girl who was searching for her mother. And when she finds her mother, the mother says something along the lines of, I couldn't let my child hold me back, because she wanted to go out in the world and enjoy herself and have adventures. And she couldn't let her child hold her back. And here's the thing about that. If they'd made it that the mother was the bad person in this, that would have been fine. Because then it would have been bad, but it would have also been okay, because then you're saying you shouldn't do this. But they made it as if the mother was some kind of hero. I couldn't let my child hold me back? What kind of a messed up person are you? Like, that is just that's the dumbest thing. And it's like, I'm just, wow. Like, it's ridiculous. I didn't watch it. My grandmother told me about it. And I was just like, that is the worst thing. Because, like, I grew up without a dad. Never had one. I had my great-grandfather kind of was like a step-in dad. He was a father figure to me. But I didn't grow up with a father. So topics like that get me. But even so, it's like if the violence guy is defending himself, then you're making it a topic of it's okay to defend yourself. So I think that's perfectly fine. And now I'm just going to make it look really cool. That's a good way to think about it. So it's like, it's not that hurting people is good. It's not that, it's just that there are people. And it's like, I think it really depends on what the story you're telling people are. And it's like, there's a lot of different things. And plus, sometimes there's people who fight. Like, that's why in the world I'm building, fighting is a regular thing as a sport. as a way to settle disputes or whatever. It's like a card game or a bet. It's like, okay, you know what? Let's play a game of chess. Whoever wins gets to win. But it's in fighting. Because if you really, really think about it, all competition, in a sense, is a form of violence. And violence in and of itself, while hurting people, it depends. Like, it depends. Like, take boxing for example. Sure, boxing, people get hurt all the time, but the people in those sports have, are really proud of themselves. They're really happy with what they were able to get their bodies to do, and it's like they're very physically fit, and all that kind of stuff, and they improved themselves so much. So something so good coming from something that is supposedly so bad. It really depends on the kind of violence we're talking about. It is wrong to kill people, I do think. I think it is bad to kill people. But it is also important to remember that people still die, and some people die in more violent ways than others. So it's like, I don't have anything against violence and animation, because, especially stick figure fights and stuff, because it doesn't matter, or it does matter, but it's like, people and things die. It happens, and it just depends on the topic. I think there's a lot of things. Again, I still don't think I've fully answered your question. Honestly, I really don't think I've fully answered, and I don't think I'm the best person to ask that question. I'm going to talk to my grandmother. I might bring this same subject up in the next stream, maybe on Friday. But yeah, it's like, it's one of those kinds of things. I really can't give you a full explanation. I'm sorry, full thing. But with that being said, it's been about an hour. I'm getting a bit tired of the stream, so I'm thinking I'm gonna head out. Gonna end the comfort stream. We had a decent viewing today, 5 viewers, so that's really cool. Thank you everybody for coming. If you like this, don't forget to go to my channel to GA Cam videos, so GACAM videos. Go to my main channel and you'll see a link on the about page to my Discord server, where you can join up and share your content or end up talking with people in VCs. It's really cool. I stream on GA Clips. I stream on GA Cam. I make official content, which is more sparsely put and stuff like that. But yeah, see you on the next stream. Yeah, I'll see you, ask, yes. But with that being said, thank you everybody for enjoying, and I hope, and to end the video, you're gonna start and gotta watch the match. Have a nice day. All right, see you everybody. Have a nice day.